As we all know, science allows us to understand the world better. Why? Because it is powerful. The evolution of science over time allows us to study in depth almost everything around us, especially every time scientists discover something new. With such broadness, the reach of science might seem to be endless, but it is not. It has definite limits, and there are still plenty of mysterious discoveries that science can't explain yet. And if you ask me, that is exactly what makes our world so interesting, though sometimes perplexing. With this, here are 12 of the most mysterious discoveries scientists still can't explain. Welcome to Upside, where we have fun facts for curious minds. To enjoy more of these videos, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. The Japanese have a special word for ancient mysterious structures that they can't explain. Have you ever heard of Kofun? Kofun simply means old tombs. These megalithic structures were built between the 3rd and 7th centuries and hold the remains of emperors, imperial family members, and the ruling elite of that time. Not to mention countless sacred objects. It is believed that the remains of the great god emperor are buried beneath the Kofun with 26,000 tons of stone slabs, swords, jewels, crowns, and statues. Ancient monoliths designed in this style don't exist anywhere else in the world, so they're specifically a Japanese phenomenon. As seen from above, Kofun look like keyholes, and the eye of the keyhole is where the grave is located. The most famous of them is the Daishin Kofun. It is 1,500 feet long, 900 feet wide, and over 100 feet tall, the size of more than 27 football fields put together. Unlike other historical wonders, you can't actually visit this wonder of the Japanese ancient world. In fact, Daishin Kofun has been off-limits to tourists, archaeologists, even royalties and authorities. With this in mind, a lot of people are claiming that the main grave mound remains untouched since the last 19th century. Several questions remain today. What inspired the ancient Japanese people during this puzzling period of their country's history? Is the emperor's treasure still lying undisturbed? We may never know. Next up, sounds weird that there's this huge hole in Mars, but there is. Our astronomers over at NASA didn't know that there was until about 2001. While Mars's entire surface is pocked with various depressions and craters, a vast pit spotted among the Swiss cheese terrain of melting frozen carbon dioxide appeared to be a bit deeper than your average hole, leaving astronomers to try and figure out what made it. There's actually a lot of things that can make holes in Mars's rocky terrain. More than 500,000 meteorite impacts have left craters. Collapsing lava tubes have created deep pits. Ancient floods have gouged out giant chasms, and volcanic activity has melted ice to leave funnels. A photo taken over the Mars South Pole reveals that among this terrain full of 500,000 meteorite impacts is a huge circular pit. The photo, taken by a high-resolution imaging science experiment, gives us a better, more detailed view of the planet's surface, even from up to 250 miles up. The position of the sun also lets scientists see there's some ice near the bottom on this hole. So the question is, did something punch its way through, or is it a collapse of some sort? Without additional information, it's been hard to tell, but no doubt NASA scientists are still whittling down the possibilities. For hundreds of years, scientists have been studying light, which is used nowadays to explore the universe and cure diseases. Rare and unusual atmospheric lights have been reported in the valley of Hessdalen in Norway for over a century. The Hessdalen lights are of unknown origin, and they appear both by day and by night. They are usually bright white, yellow, or red and can appear above and below the horizon. The duration of the phenomenon may be a few seconds to well over an hour, and these lights can be as large as a car. Sometimes the lights move with enormous speed, and at other times they seem to sway slowly back and forth. And these lights have been measured to emit as much as 19 kilowatts of power, enough power to light up a house for hours. In the 1980s, they were seen as often as 20 times a week. Since the Hessdalen lights always appear in the same area, scientists have been able to make better measurements of them than many other unexplained phenomena. Even so, there are still a wide range of ideas about what's going on. As for why Norway of all places, some scientists think there is a unique situation where a source of atmospheric dust comes into contact with a natural reservoir of radon gas. Other researchers think the lights are actually a special case of ball lightning. Thanks to this region's unique geology, Rocks in the valley contain a lot of quartz, which generates an electric field when strained under physical forces like compression. All that excess electricity could launch a lightning ball over and over in the same area, resulting in a beautiful but dangerous light display. Humpback whales are one of the largest mammals in the world. They are normally seen traveling alone or with another humpback whale. But recently, it was observed that they are forming a supergroup, and it is consisted of 20 to 200 humpback whales traveling together. Scientists have reported at least 22 separate instances where the supergroup appeared in the southwest coast of South Africa. Their behavior was unusual. This led experts to believe that something might be happening from underneath that caused these so-called loners of the sea to be a part of a very large group. According to the researchers, the feeding phenomenon is a recent behavior by the whales that has never been seen anywhere else during the migration. With all the messed up behavior, it's up to the experts to find out why this happened. Next up, the lost city of the Kalahari is a historical mystery of exploration and archaeology dating to the end of the 19th century. The history reports the existence of a ruined city found in the Kalahari Desert in southern Africa. Guillermo Farini, a traveler and inventor, wrote a report about a mysterious city that he found in the desert way back in 1885. He passed the report to Great Britain's Royal Geographical Society and published the book where he described his findings in detail. While traveling through the semi-arid wasteland, Farini is said to have come across what appeared to be ancient ruins consisting of large stones held together by cement and stone walls, which formed semi-circular structures. He claimed that this represented the remains of a lost civilization which had once existed in the Kalahari Desert. Alleged discovery sparked immense interest among explorers. Over the past 130 years, at least 30 expeditions have gone into the Kalahari Desert in search of this lost city. So far, nothing has ever been found, not even a single brick. Well, one of the things that complicated these searches was the difficulty of the location of the place. He said that it was half buried and thus would be challenging to recognize it in the first place. Another explorer and academic named A.J. Clement retraced what he believed to be the actual route of Farini and assumed that the city in the report was a set of monumental rocks resembling walls. Expeditions still continue to this day. Two of the most recent expeditions were launched in 2013 and 2016. The 2013 was probably the most high-tech search, using a drone and Google Maps to assist them in their journey. However, they went back with a claim that it is still a mystery. I know that maybe when you hear the word jelly, you might think about a sweet dessert, and when you hear star jelly, maybe you'll imagine a jelly in the universe of Star Wars, if you want to talk nerd. But no. Star jelly is a gelatinous substance that has sometimes been found on grass or even on tree branches. Those who have found this strange substance describe it as a translucent or grayish-white jelly that tends to evaporate soon after appearing or falling. For hundreds of years, different witnesses around the world have declared that this substance appears or falls after some signal in the sky, such as the sighting of a shooting star or even a meteor shower. Even today, scientists cannot agree on the nature of this substance. How is it produced? How is this related to meteorites? There are only theories and speculation about this phenomenon. One of the more favored logical and simple explanation is that during this time of the year, amphibians are spawning. The spawn is held in a substance known as glycoprotein, which is stored in the female's body. This is designed to swell on contact with water, which gives off the gelatinous mass we are all familiar with in a frog spawn. However, if it's unfertilized, it is just the empty glycoprotein that is dropped, which on contact with moist ground will swell and give a clear, slime-like substance. Trees are always a good sight to see. They bring peace and tranquility to most people. But what if you see tangled trees? Interesting and surreal, right? This is what you will see in a forest in Russia. This pine forest is found in a Koronian spit in Kaliningrad Oblast, Russia. The trees in the dancing forest twists in different patterns, which scientists still can't explain. The forest was planted way back in the 1960s after the World War. According to some theories, the growth of the trees was contributed by extreme winds, unstable soil, and even interference from caterpillars. Until a valid and concrete evidence has been found to tell how these trees grew in such remarkable patterns, the only thing that can be done now is to admire them. There's an otherworldly-looking crater in Siberia that hasn't been explained. At number 5, this giant crater nicknamed Patton after a nearby river is a 520-foot wide, 139-foot tall mound of broken limestone. Some locals, however, call it Fire's Eagle Nest and believe the area is associated with death, given the lack of growth and animals' unwillingness to go near it. The crater was first officially reported by the Russian geologist Vadim Kolpakov in 1949, but it was created about 500 years ago. Ideas about its origin include nuclear explosions and spaceships, but some scientists said that the most likely theory is a steam explosion that happened either during magma emplacement into hydrous rocks or due to the faulting and decompression of the heated hydrous rocks. Next up, there is a mysterious gravitational force in the universe that is known as dark matter. Why does it matter? The universe is a wide, vast, open place. With all our technology and all the humans investigating every day and looking into the mystery of outer space, humans only know about 5% of what's out there in the whole universe. And that darkness is dark matter, a form of matter that remains hypothetical when it comes to our planet's understanding of it. Its presence is implied in a variety of astrophysical observations, including gravitational effects that cannot be explained by accepted theories of gravity unless more matter is present that can be seen. What matters is, dark matter makes up some 27% of the universe. It cannot be seen or detected directly via the existing tools of astronomers, but its effect can be measured via its gravitational pull on ordinary matter. Next on our list, giant stone spheres in Costa Rica, also known as Las Bolas, some dating as far back as AD 600. These monuments were the rocks of a pre-Columbian civilization, and most are made from gabbro, a rock that forms from molten magma. The people who carved the stones into their perfectly spherical shapes likely did so using other small stones. According to archaeologists who study the ancient rocks, despite the fact that the stones appeared to be extremely smooth and almost perfectly round, archaeologists concluded that the stones were most likely handmade by ancient people indigenous to the Diqui Valley. Many of the stones still contain marks from the tools used to shape them. The smoothness of the surfaces were probably achieved by polishing the finished stones with sand or leather. The most difficult question to answer is why the stones were made. What was their purpose? Many non-experts have speculated that the so-called Diqui spheres were used for astronomical purposes, while others think they may have pointed the way to significant places like an ancient treasure hunt. To be honest, no one knows for sure. Since we've been talking about an incredible stonework and mysterious constructions, let us pay a visit to ancient Egypt with a glimpse of the mortuary temple of Hatshepsut, built in the Valley of the Kings. Hatshepsut was one of ancient Egypt's most successful queens, and her 22-year reign is thought to be one of the most prosperous in Egyptian history. And to pay reverence, her people built that temple. Egyptians of old spent a whole 15 years building her mortuary. Perhaps the most notable features within the mortuary are two long colonnades sequence of columns upon which the great achievements of the pharaoh are recorded in the form of carvings and reliefs. They depict Hatshepsut as a master trader and diplomat who brought fantastic wealth back to Egypt. Subsequent rulers of Egypt tried to illegitimate her reign, declaring that no woman could ever truly be a pharaoh. They tried to destroy many of the monuments at the mortuary, which is why many of the statues are defaced, but they failed in their efforts and this glorious temple is still here today. Did you know that there is a cave that remained isolated for 5.5 million years? Can you also believe that there's a place on Earth with its own ecosystem and atmosphere, similar to another planet? Well, you gotta start believing. Movile Cave, located in southeastern Romania, was discovered by workers when they were looking for a place to build. Scientists carved out an opening to the cave and found that a completely sustained ecosystem was thriving inside. As a pathway was carved through the rock past numerous tunnels, scientists found a lake of sulfuric water that stank like rotten eggs. The air was filled with hydrogen sulfide and had 100 times more carbon dioxide than Earth's air contains. Needless to say, this air is completely toxic. What's even crazier is that a whole ecosystem has been existing in this cave with 33 species that can't be found anywhere else on Earth. This cave gives us a glimpse of what could possibly exist on other planets with completely different atmospheres. How it managed to exist on Earth all this time without anyone knowing it is rather unbelievable. I'm pretty sure you find these mysterious discoveries hard to believe, yet fascinating. These things leave us being amazed and puzzled at the same time. I'm just curious, do you know other mysterious discoveries science has yet to explain? We have plenty of time to talk about it in the comments down below. And for all you Upsiders who want more Upside videos, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon. If you find this video inspiring, I know you'll enjoy our video on 11 life riddles you must solve to stay alive. See you next time.